What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Bounty here, bringing you this short little FERRA guide, obviously because a lot of people are talking about this character, a lot of people especially on Twitter. I don't know if you've all seen it. Everybody's saying that if you go on Kombat League, the odds of finding Nitara FERRA on Kombat League is very, very high. And I even made a tweet myself saying that I probably think that this team is top 10. But as I'm using this team more and more, I genuinely believe that this can get higher. And so, what better way to show off how crazy this team is now with just making this short little guide for you. So obviously, I have Johnny here doing off a lot of little things. And okay, yeah, so he's on block. So they actually nerfed this. They actually pushed a little update. This did way more damage than what it did before. This still hits very, very hard. I'm not denying it. But compared to what it used to do when this character first came out was actually ridiculous. I'm not saying that this combo I'm going to show you isn't bad, but it is definitely something that if you want to use this team of using FERRA and doing all this, this is pretty much your bread and butter with this. So I'm just going to show you all how this combo would look like. So that is meterless 473 damage into corner carry, into everything. Now there are multiple ways to get into this. So if you see my cameo when I use the FERRA, you see that it does half initially to get the jump when she jumps on my back, as you can see right there. And then the other half of that is being used to get the neutral jump punch. But there is something very, very interesting about this, and I'm not too sure how to explain it, but I just want to let you all know that this works. So the reason why I said there are multiple routes into this is it's not only just off of 1-2-1-2, or if maybe you get a whiff punish on a fireball. Let's say you crouch under a fireball and react with back forward 2, and you go with this. There are way more options than this. So say for example you do your first hit of back 4. There are 2 hits of this, which is your sweep. But if you do the first hit, you can actually special cancel it. I've showed this off many, many times. This can even be used if you watched my Nitara advanced guide to get a very easy hit confirm like this. But with FERRA, since you have various options from your stance, being your mid launcher, which is this button right here that hits mid, an overhead launcher, as well as a low launcher. So obviously, I'm sure you all can see where I'm going with this. So you do the first hit of the low, call in your FERRA, and then you go for your overhead. Or, if you want to fully commit to the sweep, rather than doing the 2 hits, you press 3 instead, and then you go for the low. So you either press 2 to get the overhead, or you press 3 to get the low option. So this is very helpful because now we can do this combo while using one cameo. Now remember how I said that looked like it took one whole bar of doing the neutral jump punch for the initial call out and then doing that. I'm pressing the cameo button. I cannot use FERRA again. However, in this instance, doing this combo, I can. You see how I just did the neutral jump punch again. So in this case, I get a little bit more damage. A 514 on the mid screen, corner carry, meterless, half-life combos. You can clearly see in the practice settings, if I scroll down, my cameo gauge and meter is all set to default settings. This was not set to refill. This is a normal B&B you can do with Nitara FERRA. This is very, very crazy. This can also work off the low option. It is a little bit trickier to hit, obviously because he comes over to the other side, but it is possible. Let me show that off really quick. So obviously it's not as much damage, and I did drop the combo, but still 45% mid-screen into corner carry, and it's a side switch, and it's meterless. This team is insane. I don't know who decided to create FERRA, but the change that they did with FERRA in addition to Nitara's buffs makes this team absolutely atrocious to fight up against. And not only this, I'm going to put Johnny on block, and you see I have reversal mode on. EX dive kick is now safe, and depending on the distances in which the dive kick hits, it can even be plus. So if you hit on the top of Johnny's head, let me actually remove the reversal mode really quick just so you all can see. So if you hit the very top of his head, you see I am -9. Worst case scenario you can be is -10. right there, minus 10. But think of it similarly like Sub-Zero's dive kick, where if you hit it lower to the ground, for example hitting the legs, it actually changes the frame data. So from going to minus 10, if you hit it very low to the legs, now you are plus 4. So what's interesting is that if you're in the corner, this actually is very beneficial to you. Why? Because there's no pushback. So even though there's a lot of pushback, as you clearly seen with the Nitara dive kick, because you're stuck in the corner and you can't be moved, this is actually very good for you. So let me just do this. So imagine being neutral on block. You're in range of your down 3, you're in range barely of your down 1, and you can even contest with your forward 1 mid. So this is very good in certain matchups, because now all of a sudden you can just do crazy things like this and be plus 8, which is it's very tricky to do this. I'm not saying it's easy. I've obviously practiced the character a lot and I have the execution down to do instant air dive kicks. If you don't have the execution for instant air dive kicks, this is pretty much the best time to do it now because of this. So imagine you're plus 8 and you go for your 11 frame mid, but because you have 8 frames of advantage, very simple math, you do 11 minus 8, and all of a sudden you get a mid that is suddenly 3 frames fast, which is absolutely ridiculous. And because of this, right, because it's a dive kick, you are considered in the air. Now why is this important? Because if you're in the air, how you can do your back forward 2 combos? Well, guess what? Now you can also call in FERRA in the air as well by doing up plus cameo, as you can see on my inputs on the left side. So what this means is, say for example you do your dive kick, right? Even normal dive kick, if you do it very low to the ground, it is still punishable. As you can see, minus 20, very, very punishable. However, if you have FERRA, now you can call this in and get a very low neutral jump punch like this and keep yourself safe. Obviously they can armor if they have the meter for it. That's why I have the reversal mode on, just so I can show you all. Of course you are going to get punished every single time for doing this. Let me just show that off one more time. Oops, my bad. So yeah, you see I didn't even get a chance of using the punch to come out, right? But there are a lot of other interesting things you can do with this as well, but I'm going to show you that later. So EX dive kick being an example, you saw how that took a little bit longer. I'm just gonna leave it at there. I'm not gonna say too much. So obviously I showed you off the combos, I showed you off all the little things. I'm going to show you all some very simple setups now. Give me a second. Blocking. Okay, let me put it to auto block. Let me see. So let me show off the new bounty loops that is very famous by me. Even though I'm not the one who found it, you can just do this. 397, very good damage, right? So this is interesting now because you have FERRA. So this changes in the corner. You can go for different combos. So you can go for the same mid-screen combo in the corner of going for this. Right, you can do that. It is a little bit tricky, obviously, because it's in the corner. The way the dive kick angle hits is different. It still does work, though. It's a little bit tricky. So I'd much rather prefer mixing the bounty loops into doing this. You're going to see how that looks like really quick. So you get 431 half cameo of doing the overhead option. And obviously, like I said, you have the low option as well. This one is a little bit tricky, of course, because, you know, there is a side switch. I much rather prefer going for the overhead variation of this. And if you do want to use the low, just go for the first hit of back 4 and then go for this. I feel like that is much better use, not only of the cameo, but also you work so hard to get the corner. It's better to just not lose it by doing this option right here. But if you really want to have those options of going for the low into the overhead, or just going for the raw overhead like this, you can also mix it up by doing a forward throw from the FERRA stance and going for a command grab like throw. Let me just show that off really quick. Where is it? So movement mode to duck. So he is neutral crouching, as you can see right here. And if I go for the FERRA, you can see that it is a throw. Similarly to like all these other command grab stuff, like Reiko and all that stuff, you can just crouch it, but obviously you have to be very careful, because if not, you're gonna get hit by this low, get hit by this, or you just get hit by the raw overhead and you just eat all that amazing damage. So the reason why I even mentioned this is if you go for this combo, You can end it with blood sacrifice and be completely safe. If I do get up mode for Johnny, you're actually going to see that I'm completely safe doing this. Let me just show it off one more time. So you see I was able to block. If I tried to go for a button afterwards, I actually get punished for it. But if you just hold block afterwards, it is 100% guaranteed. So this is interesting because you can actually mess around with this. So obviously if you block the shadow kick, you go for your basic punish, you go for here, whatever, do your very simple basic Nitara punish, you get the point. They're not going to want to wake up and they're going to want to hold block. Well, guess what? Now this is your option or your ability now to do mix, which is very, very scary, obviously. So after you get the knockdown with here, you can go for your mix with that. Obviously, if they wake up, you are going to get hit. So there is, you know, there's obviously a guessing game among this, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just showing you off more so as a proof of concept. So you can either go for your overhead, or you can go for your, you can go here, delay for the low. Or you can even delay that as well. So they'll be like, oh, he's going to go for the low. Overhead very, very fast. You can react to this. It is very, very hard though. It is 20 frames for an overhead. So it is just in the threshold of being able to react to it, but the low is 17 frames. So it is pretty much a guaranteed 50-50 at that point. Theoretically, you can say all these things, but just the numbers is just very hard to be able to say you can react to both. So imagine seeing this. You have to guess, was that an overhead or a low? Right? I'm pretty sure none of you guessed correctly because I actually did the forward throw option. So yeah, this is actually ridiculous. You can do so many ways of guessing people. They're going to be so scared of the overhead that they block high and then you hit them with the throw. Or you can even fake that, go for the single hit of the low and go for overhead. So it is a lot of crazy stuff you can do with this. Pain and gain setups. I know a lot of people are going to be very interested to see that. So let me just show you a very quick one. Oops, I dropped it. Give me one more try. So it's not the most guaranteed crazy thing in the world, but you do get it. So you go for this, match FERRA, call this out, and then you get your pain and gain. If they try and hit a button, you're going to get the armor from the pain and gain. Obviously, if it's a very fast button, like a double hitting jab, you are going to get beat because you only get one hit of armor with the pain and gain. So let me just show that. Let me go for get up mode and reversal mode. Just see this very quickly. Here, just a little optimal combo, the little bounty loops as I talked about earlier. Come here, go for that, and as you see on the left side, it clearly said punish. So if you get them to hit a button, if they're a little bit too antsy, you can absolutely kill them for that. Let me just show you how that would look like as an example. So here, mashing the FERRA to come out, pain and gain, go for here. So if that was meterless damage, you essentially two-touch them. They're only left with 49.93 health remaining, which is about 5%. So this is good for obvious reasons because it's not like you start the game already with them in the corner. You're at least going to have to touch them once to get in here. They're probably going to lose about maybe 20 to 30% of their life before they even get to the corner. So this is pretty much a two-touch scenario. You only get the one hit into the knockdown, or rather one hit into the setup with this. Sorry about that. So you go for this, go for your setup. So it's absolutely crazy. They have to guess on that, by the way. So it's like what I said. They go for the overhead, they wake up, they go for the low, or they even go for the throw. It's not going to be as much damage with the throw, obviously. It's not like you can combo afterwards, but it's the fact that it's something that they have to guess on, you know. Just more ways to mix is what I'm trying to say. In terms of combos with FERRA, it's sort of similar to Chameleon, which is why I didn't really talk much about the combos with FERRA. Because with the ability to just cancel this anywhere in the air, you can even do this off of like your dive kick. Let me just show that off. So you can even do something as crazy as like this. It's very weird to show off. Give me a second though. Yes, you can even do something like that. It's a little bit tricky to hit. Yeah, you can do something crazy like this. It's sort of like Chameleon with fan lift, how you can just kind of free flow with it. So obviously you do have to keep in mind that you have your up cameo button as well as doing this. It's not really much use of using this on the ground other than using this for your mix-ups. of going for stuff like this, or like this, or like this. That's really just mainly what you want to use it for on the ground. Like how I showed off in the very beginning of this video, going for optimal combo mid-screen with this. And then you can go into your several routes with this. And because you get the dive kick knockdown, guaranteed blood sacrifice. So 514 damage corner carry into a 1 bar spent blood sacrifice in which they have to hold. So yeah, this character is absolutely ridiculous. I'm trying to think of some... Oh, yes, an option select. So what an option select is, you do a certain amount of inputs on the left side. So you see right there, you do a certain input. And depending on what happens, the game chooses the option for you, which is why it's called an option select. So this is the OS right here. EX dive kick on block. You can also do it just like wall like this. It is a little bit tricky with the timing. It's a lot of hand movements, but you can do it. I just showed it off of back 2 because it is something you do sometimes as a Nitara player. And as you see right there, on hits, the dive kick hit, and I got the combo. FERRA completely missed. Now you're saying, Bounty, why is that even helpful? I don't even get it. This is why it's helpful. Because I have it set to random. Right? I have it set to random. If he blocks it, FERRA jumps on my back, and then I get the neutral jump punch, as you can see. Let me just take off the reversal mode, just so that you can sort of see what that looks like better. There we go. So here I get my combo. You do your basic Nitara stuff. Got my combo again. Let me wait for it to recharge. Wait for it to recharge. I'm getting very lucky with this. Why is it... Okay, hold up. Let me just put him on block very quickly because I just keep getting the same thing. Okay. So if he blocks it, you see FERRA jumps on my back. So you can go for your neutral jump punch right there because literally the very tip of neutral jump punch hits in this scenario. It's actually insane. And you're +1 if they don't have meter to armor through it. Right? So you see right there on the bottom left, +1. Or you can be very, very disgusting with it and delay it slightly. Go for your low like this and be -5, which is safe. Or go for your launching overhead like this. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. And obviously, like the neutral jump punch, if they block it, if they get hit by the neutral jump punch rather, you get a combo. Let me show you this. So if they get too antsy and don't anticipate the neutral jump punch, you go for that. So you go for your little, very simple B&B like this. You get your corner carry, you get all the good stuff, 35% into that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy that you can just do this. Let me just put it on random again, random combo, just to show you off. So the way you get the timing for it is once you input the dive kick, like once you do your down back 4 input, instantly do up cameo, like that. So you see how the dive kick hits and FERRA misses, but if they block it, it actually comes out. So let me just try and show this off. Give me a second. It's a little bit tricky to show it off against the AI for obvious reasons. Jeez, okay. You pretty much get the point though. Let me just put them on all block. So yeah, pretty much does it. You can do it off a raw dive kick, like I said. It's a little bit trickier though, because obviously your hands have to move twice as fast. But it is something you can do, but yeah. That's pretty much it. I think I covered everything about FERRA. So like, as I said, you get to call her out doing this. You have the up cameo version of doing that. You can also do down and cameo if you want to get extra meter. This is more so like niche. Nobody really does this, although it is very helpful with doing this. So you can call her in the middle of doing your combos. So let me just show off what that looks like. Super meter, where is it? So let me have it on nothing. So we all have no meter. Very simple B&B. Right? Basic Nitara B&B. You barely build even half a bar. You get like a small little speck. Right? But if you do down and cameo to call FERRA and she's hyping you up, then you see how much meter I gain. So you see hit confirms, you go for this, and you go for that. I pretty much built half a bar from doing that. If she's already out on the screen, you obviously get more meter because you get all the initial hits from the start of the combo. Oh god, hold up. She wasn't activated yet. There we go. Yeah, so you pretty much build an entire bar if you manage to get the hit from the very, very beginning. which is absolutely crazy. And because of the stance is active, you can call her to just come in like that. So you see how she's out on the screen? You can just call her if you're standing right next to her to put her directly on your back, which is pretty cool. But like I said, it's not really, I'm not going to say it's not helpful. It has its situations, but usually what you want to use your FERRA cameo on is going for your mix-ups like this, or if you're going for your combos, like going for stuff like that. So yeah. That's pretty much it for me. I know this video was kind of a little bit crazy with how I went with this guide. It wasn't really too, you know, informative or whatever. Like, I didn't really have a plan on going for this. I kind of just woke up and I was like, you know what? Let me make a FERRA guide, because I feel like a lot of people would definitely appreciate this. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next one. Take care.